Hey guys, welcome to your next video. Now let's talk about another situation where you want to track a remote repository with Git. For this example, we will need a GitHub account. So let's set up your GitHub account. You're going to go to github.com and then enter your username, email, and password. Sign up for GitHub and create an account. I already have an account, so I'm going to hit sign in and log into my account. Over here, what we're going to do is look for this new tab, which creates a new repository. I'm going to give our repository a name. I'm going to name it remote_repo. I'm going to set this to private and I'm going to create a repository. This will create our repository for us. Now, once we're in our repository, we'll see a button where it says get started by creating a new file or uploading an existing file. What we're going to do is we're just going to create a new file for now, just to make it seem like this repository has some file. So obviously we're going to do our .gitignore file. And then in this file we're going to have our .projects and also the star.pyc. And then we're going to commit this new file. We're going to create another file, which is going to be our calc.py file, which we just created. We're going to find this file that we created. We're going to go ahead and copy paste all the information and paste it into our new file, and then go ahead and commit this file. Now these are the only two files we'll need for now, so we'll leave this as it is. What we're going to do is we're going to go back into our Git directory that we created, and we had a local repo to work with our local repo. I'm going to create a new folder called cloned repo just to demonstrate how GitHub would work in this repository. As you can see, this repository is currently empty. There's absolutely nothing in it. So from our code, we need to now change our directory into that clone directory, because that is where we'll be cloning our GitHub repository into. You can go ahead and close all these tabs. Alright, now in order to clone the repository, we need to use the command git clone. Then we need to enter the URL of the repository that we need to clone. So I'm going to go back, and over here where it says clone or download, you can copy this link right here. This is your URL or your clone or your remote repository URL. Then you just paste that URL onto your command line, and then you have to give the position of where you want to store it. So since we're already on the clone repository folder, we're going to put a dot to represent we want to store it in this folder. Now we're going to hit enter, and it's going to start the cloning process. After the cloning process is done, those two files is now, as you can see, it's in our clone repository. We have a .git file, the .gitignore, and the calc.py file. If we take a look at our clone repository and open up these files, they'll be exactly what we entered. And that is how you clone a new repository from a remote repository. Now we can also view some information about this clone repository by writing git remote-v. This will show you where the origin is, and as you can see, it is our remote repository that we have created on GitHub. Another thing we can do is git branch-a. This will show you all the branches. Right now we're currently working on our master branch, and then there's also the remote branches from GitHub. Well, there you have it, guys. That's how you clone a remote repository onto your local machine. Let's do a quick review of how we can clone a remote repository. So in order to clone another repository, the command is git clone, and then you need the URL of the repository that you want to clone to and the location which you want to clone it into. And then in order to view some basic information, we can do the git remote-v to see where we got the files from, and the git branch-a to list all the information about the files. And there you have it, guys. That is how we clone into our local directories. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for listening.